What if I told you the fastest way to make any woman crave your presence, even if she's currently uninterested, isn't about chasing her, but about a deep, psychological understanding of what makes her truly miss you? Forget cheesy lines and desperate attempts. This is about subtly shifting her perception, making her feel your powerful emotional presence even when you're nowhere near. You've likely been fed the same old advice. If a woman isn't showing interest, just cut your losses, move on, or, ironically, try even harder to prove your worth. But let's face an uncomfortable, yet profoundly liberating truth, one that most men never truly grasp. Women don't miss men because they need them in a desperate, clinging sense. No, that's not it at all. They miss men because those men, whether instinctively or deliberately, understand how to cultivate a powerful, resonant emotional presence, a deep imprint, even in their physical absence. It's a subtle art, but an incredibly potent one. And this video, brought to you by Stoic Love, isn't about cheap tricks, manipulative tactics, or some recycled fake pickup lines designed to impress for a fleeting moment. Absolutely not. This is about something far more profound and sustainable. It's about understanding female psychology on a much deeper, more nuanced level. It's about learning how you can subtly, yet effectively, position yourself in her mind and emotions, so that even a woman who initially showed zero interest, who barely gave you the time of day, finds herself unexpectedly thinking about you, wondering about you, when you're not physically around. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? A fantasy, perhaps. But I assure you, it is far from it. The truth is, initial indifference, that seeming lack of interest, is not some permanent, unchangeable state. It is, more often than not, a reaction, a response to the energy you're currently putting out. And if you genuinely understand how to subtly flip that reaction, how to shift that initial perception, you can completely, fundamentally change how a woman perceives you, how she feels about you, and ultimately, how she responds to you. Now, before you roll your eyes, before you dismiss this as mere theory, understand this crucial distinction. The goal of making a woman miss you is absolutely not about chasing her, begging for her attention, or desperately trying to prove your worthiness. In fact, doing any of those things is the fastest, most effective way to utterly kill any burgeoning attraction, to extinguish its flame before it even truly ignites. Women, at a fundamental level, cannot respect men who try too hard, who are too eager, too desperate for their approval. What genuinely makes a woman miss you, what makes her feel that inexplicable pull in your absence, is the exact opposite of what the vast majority of men instinctively do. It's not about being constantly available, always in her inbox, always at her beck and call. It's about cultivating a presence so unique, so self-assured, that you become truly, profoundly unforgettable. So, in this transformative video from Stoic Love, we're going to break down, meticulously and practically, exactly how to achieve that. Step by step, I'll reveal how to subtly trigger her curiosity, earn her genuine respect, and eventually spark an undeniable desire, even from a woman who initially wasn't giving you the slightest bit of attention. And by the end of this journey, you'll realize that making her miss you isn't about some stroke of luck or random chance. It's about understanding the deep currents of female psychology and, crucially, learning to play the game differently, playing it smarter, playing it with profound intention. Let's dive in. 1. Why chasing kills attraction. Here's a hard, often painful truth that most men, in their eagerness, never truly want to hear, let alone accept. The harder, the more relentlessly you chase a woman, the faster, the more decisively, she will run in the opposite direction. It's an almost universal law of attraction, yet it's consistently violated. Chasing, at its core, can feel incredibly natural, almost instinctual. You see someone who captivates you, someone you deeply desire. So your primal urge is to try and convince her of your worth. You want to demonstrate your effort, to prove that you are worthy of her attention, her time, her affection. But in the intricate dance of female psychology, this approach almost always, every single time, backfires spectacularly. Why does this happen? Because chasing, by its very nature, fundamentally flips the delicate balance of power in the interaction. Instead of her feeling lucky, fortunate, or even intrigued to have your attention, she begins to perceive you as the one desperately seeking hers. And let's be brutally honest with ourselves. Nobody truly misses what they already have, an overwhelming abundance of. When you are constantly calling, incessantly texting, or perpetually trying to impress her with a relentless barrage of compliments or grand gestures, you are, in essence, giving her an emotional oversupply. You are flooding her with so much of your presence, your attention, your validation, that she has no reason, no psychological space to actually think about you in your absence. Why would she? You've already made yourself far too available, too predictable, too present. Think of it using a simple, relatable analogy. If someone, say, a benevolent neighbor, were to give you free, delicious food every single day, without fail, would you ever truly crave it? Would you ever feel a pang of longing for that meal? Probably not, right? It's just there. But if, suddenly, without warning, that free food supply abruptly disappears, then, and only then, do you suddenly realize how much you actually wanted it, how much you relied on it. The absence creates the desire. The exact same principle, the same psychological trigger, applies directly here. Women do not, cannot, miss men who chase. They miss men who, with quiet confidence, know how to create space, to cultivate a fascinating sense of mystery, and to allow their absence to be genuinely felt. Here's the real kicker, the deeper, more uncomfortable truth. Chasing also, and perhaps more damagingly, communicates something far darker and more insidious about you. It betrays an underlying insecurity. It subtly, yet powerfully, tells her that you don't inherently see yourself as valuable enough to simply stand still, to radiate your own worth, and to allow her to gravitate towards you. And as we've established, absolutely nothing kills attraction faster, more definitively, than insecurity. Women are instinctively, powerfully drawn to men who clearly possess options, who profoundly value their own precious time, and who do not, under any circumstances, need to beg for attention, validation, or affection. They are drawn to men who are self-sufficient, who are grounded in their own purpose. So, if your genuine desire is to make a woman, even one who initially displayed not an iota of interest, to actually start missing you, the very first, most fundamental rule is deceptively simple. Stop chasing. Immediately. Step back. Give her the necessary space, the psychological room, to actually notice your absence. That deliberate silence, that intentional withdrawal, will, I promise you, speak louder and resonate far more profoundly than 100 desperate text messages ever could. Let's illustrate this with an example. Imagine you've been texting a woman 3 times a day, every single day, and her replies are consistently short, dry, or simply non-committal. Your instinct, like most men, might be to double down, to intensify your efforts. But instead, you do the opposite. You completely stop texting her for 2 full days. What do you think happens? More often than not, she'll eventually wonder where you went, check your profile, or, surprisingly, even reach out to you first. By consciously not chasing, you've brilliantly created the emotional space for her curiosity to bloom, for her to actually feel your absence. 2. Silence speaks louder than texts. Most men mistakenly believe that constant, incessant communication is the golden key to making a woman like them, to winning her affection. They diligently text "good morning," send multiple check-in messages throughout the day, and then dutifully end with a "good night" message. On the surface, it feels like effort, like being attentive. But in reality, this relentless over-communication is, ironically, the quickest and most effective way to make her take you completely for granted. Why? Because when your words, your attention, your presence are always, constantly, effortlessly available, they rapidly lose their inherent value, their specialness. They become commonplace, expected. Silence, on the other hand, carries immense weight. It creates tension, a subtle, intriguing void, and most importantly, it forces a woman to think. And in the intricate realm of female psychology, curiosity is a far, far more powerful and enduring force than mere familiarity. When you strategically employ silence, you are, in effect, giving her the invaluable opportunity to wonder, to ponder. Why isn't he texting me right now? What exactly is he doing? Who could he possibly be with? That wondering, that mental engagement, that slight uncertainty is precisely the fertile ground where the seed of missing you begins to sprout and grow. Here's a crucial truth to internalize, one that Stoic love consistently advocates. Attention is a precious currency, and strategic silence is the most effective way you can dramatically increase its perceived value. If you indiscriminately hand out constant texts and calls, a relentless stream of availability, she will, quite naturally, treat it like loose change. Always there, never truly special, easily overlooked. But when you consciously, deliberately hold back, even for just a little while, your attention suddenly transforms. It becomes rare, valuable, sought after. And people by their very nature crave what is rare, what is difficult to obtain. Now, it's vital to clarify. Do not, under any circumstances, confuse this strategic use of silence with immaturity, with playing childish games, or with deliberately ignoring her in a disrespectful way. This is about establishing a healthy, confident balance. It's about demonstrating, unequivocally, that your entire world, your happiness, your sense of purpose, does not and will not revolve entirely around her messages, her whims, or her validation. A man who does not feel the compulsive need to constantly check in, to always be available, radiates an aura of profound confidence, unwavering independence, and deep self-respect. That, my friends, is what makes her instinctively lean in, what truly captures her attention. So, etch this into your mind. Sometimes, the single most powerful, most impactful thing you can communicate to a woman is absolutely nothing at all. Let your silence do the heavy lifting. Let it speak volumes. Consider this common scenario. You've been messaging a woman daily, consistently, and she suddenly begins to reply less frequently, or takes significantly longer to respond to your messages. The typical male response, driven by anxiety, is to panic and send even more texts, desperate to re-engage her. But instead, you do the unexpected. You pull back. You don't send a single message for a full day. What happens? She will, inevitably, notice the sudden gap. She'll check her phone, perhaps expecting your name to pop up, and she may even initiate contact herself, wondering where you've gone. That strategic silence, that intentional space, created far more impact than any verbose paragraph you could have possibly written. 3. Stop being too available. One of the most colossal mistakes men consistently make in their interactions with women is the misguided belief that being available 24/7 at her every whim and call will somehow magically win her over, securing her affection and interest. You know the drill, because you've either lived it or seen countless friends fall into this trap. You eagerly cancel plans with your buddies, just in case she calls or texts. You reply instantly, within seconds, to every single text message she sends, no matter the time of day or night. And you make absolutely sure she knows, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you are always, always, always there for her, ready to drop everything. On paper, this might look like immense effort, unwavering devotion. But in the cold, hard reality of attraction dynamics, it achieves the exact opposite. It makes you utterly predictable, excruciatingly boring, and worst of all, completely, utterly forgettable. Think about it logically and psychologically. When you are constantly, relentlessly available, there is no challenge, no intriguing tension, no spark of excitement. She knows with absolute certainty that no matter what she does, no matter how she acts, you will always pick up the phone, you will always say yes, you will always drop everything else in your life for her. And when something becomes too easy to get, too readily available, it inexorably loses its perceived value. This isn't just a quirk of relationships, it's a fundamental aspect of human nature. Relate this to your own personal experiences, your own life. Remember a time when you were passionately chasing something truly important to you. Perhaps a dream job, a rare collectible item, or a challenging personal goal you initially thought was completely out of reach. The very fact that it wasn't easily available, that it required effort and persistence, made you crave it more intensely, made the pursuit exhilarating. But consider the moment you were simply handed something, effortlessly, without any struggle. Did it feel as special, as meaningful? Rarely. The same principle, the same psychological truth, applies here with women. Women do not, fundamentally, crave men who orbit exclusively around them, whose lives are entirely consumed by her presence. They are powerfully, instinctively drawn to men who possess their own vibrant lives, their own compelling passions, and their own well-defined priorities. Men who are sometimes confident enough to say, "I can't, I'm busy right now, I have other commitments." Men who don't feel the desperate need to drop everything at her command simply to gain her approval or attention. Why? Because authentic independence is inherently attractive. It signals to her that you are not desperate, that you are a man with substance and direction. It demonstrates, unequivocally, that you possess immense value outside of her attention, outside of her validation. So, here's the unvarnished truth. The more consistently, the more readily available you make yourself, the less she will feel any genuine need to miss you. But when you consciously, deliberately create space, when you demonstrate, through your actions, that your world does not, in fact, revolve entirely around her, that's precisely when she begins to truly notice your absence. And that, my friends, is when the process of missing you, that subtle longing, truly begins. 4. Mystery beats honesty every time. We've all been indoctrinated, from a young age, with the seemingly noble mantra that honesty is the best policy. And undoubtedly, honesty holds a crucial, non-negotiable place in the foundation of long-term, committed relationships. But here's the vital distinction, the nuanced truth when it comes to the initial stages of attraction. Too much raw, unfiltered honesty, too soon can be an absolute spark killer. Most men mistakenly believe that by laying all their cards on the table, by openly sharing their every fleeting thought, their every meticulous plan, their every raw emotion, they are diligently building connection, fostering intimacy. In reality, they are, quite inadvertently, stripping away all the intriguing mystery, all the compelling suspense that is absolutely essential for keeping a woman genuinely, deeply captivated and hooked. Attraction, you must understand, is not a logical process. It is fundamentally an emotional one. And nothing, absolutely nothing, drives emotion more powerfully, more intensely than insatiable curiosity. When a woman doesn't fully, completely know everything about you, your motivations, your deeper thoughts, your daily activities, she naturally begins to fill in those intriguing blanks herself. She starts to wonder, where is he going right now? Who is he spending his time with? What's truly on his mind, beneath the surface? That wondering, that active mental and emotional engagement, is precisely what keeps her hooked, what keeps you constantly present in her thoughts. But when you over-explain absolutely everything, when you present yourself as an utterly open book from day one, with nothing left to discover, nothing left to infer, there's simply nothing remaining for her vivid imagination to grasp onto. And if there's nothing for her to imagine, there's nothing for her to chase, nothing for her to be curious about. The allure fades. Think about your favorite movies or books. What makes them so compelling, so exciting, so unforgettable? It's the suspense, the thrilling unknown, the tantalizing questions that keep you turning pages or glued to the screen. If the entire story, all its twists and turns, were spoiled in the first 5 minutes, you would inevitably lose interest, wouldn't you? Women experience the exact same psychological dynamic with men. A guy who always, meticulously tells her exactly how he feels, precisely what he's doing at every moment, and exactly where he's going, removes all sense of suspense, all element of the unexpected. And without suspense, without that delicious tension, there is simply no thrill. The truth, stark and clear, is this: mystery creates profound value. When you don't reveal every single aspect of yourself, when you maintain a subtle air of intriguing enigma, you compel her to pay attention. You compel her to think about you, to actively engage with your presence, even when you're not physically by her side. And that, my friends, is the secret. Missing you originates in the mind, in the realm of thought and imagination, long before it fully settles into the heart. So yes, honesty certainly has its vital place in a mature, established relationship. But if your immediate goal, as advised by Stoic love, is to make a woman, even one who initially isn't interested, to crave your presence, to feel that undeniable pull, then remember this crucial insight. It's not primarily what you tell her that makes her miss you. It's paradoxically what you don't tell her. 5. Never compete for her attention. Far too many good men find themselves ensnared in the soul-sapping trap of constantly competing for a woman's attention. They see her post a captivating picture on social media and instinctively rush to be the first to comment, to validate her. They notice other guys casually flirting or simply being around her, and suddenly, an uncomfortable, almost primal urge overtakes them. The need to outperform, to be louder, funnier, more charismatic, more available than the perceived competition. They mistakenly believe that if they can just stand out more, be more present, more impressive, she will finally, unequivocally, see their immense value. Let's be blunt, with a dose of harsh reality. This behavior is inherently weak, and women, with their finely tuned intuition, can detect that weakness, that underlying desperation, from a mile away. Here's the unvarnished reality, a truth you must internalize. If you are actively, overtly competing for her attention, you have, in essence, already lost the game before it even truly began. Why? Because real confident men do not compete. They attract. A man who genuinely knows his own profound worth, who is grounded in his self-esteem, simply doesn't care who else is texting her, who else is admiring her from afar, or who else is trying, desperately, to win her over. He operates from a place of abundance, not scarcity. He understands, with absolute certainty, that his intrinsic value is self-evident, undeniable. And if she, for whatever reason, cannot or chooses not to see it, then that, my friends, is unequivocally her loss, not his. This is where the vast majority of men urgently need a wake-up call, a complete paradigm shift. Stop putting women on an impossibly high pedestal. Stop acting as if her attention, her validation, is some kind of precious trophy you must relentlessly fight for, bleed for, sacrifice for. That deeply ingrained mindset makes you appear utterly desperate, profoundly insecure. And desperation, in the realm of attraction, never, ever wins genuine respect or lasting desire. The truth is, the more you relentlessly chase and actively compete for her, the more she will, instinctively, pull back, disengage, and likely direct her attention elsewhere. Perhaps to the man who isn't trying so hard, the man who is simply being himself, radiating confidence. Women are powerfully drawn to men who subtly, effortlessly create demand for their presence, not men who humbly beg for supply. The very moment you cease competing, the instant you start living your life with the unwavering belief that you are the prize, that your time and attention are valuable, her entire perception of you will undergo a seismic shift. She will begin to realize that your time, your focused attention, and your precious energy are not cheap, are not easily given. And suddenly, unexpectedly, she will begin to crave them more intensely than ever before. So here's the direct, unflinching advice from Stoic love. Wake up, man. If you're still actively fighting for a woman's attention, if you're still scrambling to prove yourself, you are inadvertently telling her, through your actions, that she is somehow above you, that she holds a higher status. Flip the script completely. Understand that you are the standard. You are the one she should be competing for, the one whose attention she should desire to earn. 6. Confidence is more addictive than love. Here's a hard, perhaps stinging truth that most men need to face directly without flinching. Women are not primarily drawn to love first. They are, at a fundamental, almost primal level, drawn to confidence. You can shower her with an endless torrent of affection, compose heartfelt, lengthy paragraphs declaring your devotion, and bend over backwards, compromising your boundaries to prove just how much you care. But if you fundamentally lack genuine, unwavering confidence, she simply won't feel that magnetic spark, that intoxicating pull. Why? Because love, without confidence, without a strong, self-assured core, feels to a woman like weakness. And weakness, in the context of masculine attraction, is unequivocally not attractive. It repels. Confidence, on the other hand, is an almost irresistible force. It's the unspoken quality, the magnetic aura, that makes people instinctively stop, take notice, and pay attention. True confidence isn't about being arrogant, boisterous, or acting as if you're inherently superior to everyone else. Authentic confidence is often quiet, understated, powerful. It's reflected in the way you carry yourself, the calm authority in your voice, the purposeful way you move through life without constantly, anxiously seeking external approval or validation. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you witnessed a woman choose a guy who wasn't necessarily the nicest or even the most conventionally good-looking? But he possessed that unshakable, undeniable self-belief, that quiet strength. That wasn't a mere accident or coincidence. Women are profoundly wired, at a deep evolutionary level, to respond to confidence, because it powerfully signals strength, unwavering stability, and decisive leadership. Love might make her smile for a moment, but deep, authentic confidence is what makes her truly crave your presence, what makes her desire to be around you. And here's where most men fundamentally fail to grasp this distinction. They mistakenly confuse confidence with mere words or external displays, when, in reality, true confidence is most powerfully expressed through action. It's the ability to make decisive choices without hesitation, to stand firmly by your opinions and convictions, instead of folding under pressure simply to please her. It's the self-respect to be comfortable walking away, to set firm boundaries if you feel you're not being genuinely respected or valued. That kind of profound confidence doesn't just make a woman like you, it makes you utterly, profoundly unforgettable. So, here's the stark wake-up call from Stoic love. Stop deluding yourself into thinking that love alone, in isolation, will make her miss you, will keep you firmly in her thoughts. Love, without genuine confidence, often devolves into unhealthy dependency, and dependency, as we've established, is profoundly repelling. Confidence, that unwavering self-belief, is what truly lingers in her mind, long after you've left her presence. That's what keeps her awake at night, wondering. That's what, paradoxically, makes her miss you, even if she initially swore she wouldn't give you another thought. 7. Make her think she's losing you. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, makes a woman miss a man faster, more acutely, than the genuine, unsettling thought of losing him. It's a fundamental tenet of human psychology. People rarely, if ever, truly value what is perpetually guaranteed, what is always there without question. They value, profoundly, what they might potentially lose, what could slip through their fingers. And tragically, far too many men sabotage their own chances by making themselves an absolute, permanent fixture in a woman's life, even when she hasn't, in truth, earned that level of unwavering commitment or devotion. Here's the unvarnished truth, the harsh reality. If she knows, with absolute certainty, that you will always, always be there, no matter how she acts, no matter how little effort she puts in, she has no compelling reason, no psychological impetus to chase you, no reason to genuinely appreciate your presence, and absolutely no reason to miss you. You're a given, not a prize. But the very moment she senses, even subtly, that your attention is beginning to slip away, that your once focused energy is no longer exclusively directed at her, something profound and unsettling shifts within her. Suddenly, she begins to question herself, her assumptions, her perception of your dynamic. A powerful fear begins to creep in. What if he's genuinely moving on? What if another woman is now capturing his attention, his time, his energy? What if I've actually lost my chance with him? That subtle yet potent fear of loss is incredibly powerful. It's what often, paradoxically, triggers a surge of desire, a renewed sense of urgency. But let's be unequivocally clear. This is absolutely not about playing manipulative games, about pretending to pull away with ill intent. This is, at its core, about profound self-respect and setting healthy boundaries. You are not pretending to withdraw. You are, through your actions, demonstrating that if she genuinely doesn't value your presence, your time, your unique qualities, then someone else, a woman who does appreciate you, very well might. And that powerful realization, that cold splash of reality, is precisely what makes her finally, truly feel your absence, feel the void you leave behind. So the lesson here from Stoic love is simple yet incredibly impactful. Stop making yourself an absolute guarantee in her life. Be genuinely willing to walk away if your value isn't recognized. Be willing to let her feel the profound weight of your silence, the empty space you once filled, and be truly willing to let her imagine, even for a moment, a life without your presence. That, my friends, is when she will start to miss you the most, with an intensity she never expected. Because deep down, nothing stings a woman more profoundly than the raw, undeniable realization that she had a truly valuable man, and through her inaction or lack of appreciation, she can't get him back. The bottom line is, and it might sting a little to hear this, but women don't actually miss the nice guy who's always available, always trying to please. They miss the man who possesses the quiet strength, the profound self-respect, to walk away and allow her to genuinely feel his absence, to feel the undeniable void he leaves behind. That's the harsh, liberating truth that most men, in their eagerness, desperately try to avoid hearing. You can be the sweetest, most loving, most attentive guy in the entire world. But if you don't understand how to strategically create space, how to value your own presence, she won't truly value you. She'll simply forget you, or worse, take you for granted. And the man who respects himself enough not to beg, not to chase, that's the man she ultimately ends up chasing, the man she can't stop thinking about. Now, I genuinely want to hear from you, the incredible community here at Stoic Love. This is your final call to action. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you chase too hard, only to see her pull away? Or perhaps conversely, have you experienced a situation where your strategic silence, your confident withdrawal, actually pulled her back to you with renewed interest? Share your story, your insights, your personal struggles, or your triumphs in the comments section below. I will be personally checking them, reading them, and I'd love to connect with you, offer feedback, and perhaps even guide you through your own unique situation. Remember, this channel, Stoic Love, isn't just about me delivering information. It's about building a powerful, supportive community of men who are committed to finally understanding the deeper currents of female psychology, and who choose to use that understanding to win genuine respect, profound connection, and lasting desire, rather than constantly losing it through misguided efforts. And before we wrap up, let me leave you with a final thought, a teaser for what's to come. In our very next video, we'll delve into something equally important, a topic that many men overlook. Why giving a woman your full, unwavering loyalty too soon, before it's truly earned, might actually be the very reason she pulls away, feeling overwhelmed or uninvested. So, make sure you click on that subscribe button right now, and also hit the notification bell, so you would be among the very first to know when I release that crucial next video. I'll see you then, gentlemen, on Stoic Love.